Hey up everyone, Rich here at Only Vans. In this video we're going to take you through a complete beginner's guide to everything awnings. Now that the seasons have started to change and we've moved from summer to autumn, autumn being one of my favourite times to camp, making sure that you utilise any extra space that you can get and making sure that you've got the right awning in autumn and winter is more important than any other time. I recently wrote a blog about why I think that autumn is the best time to camp, and it takes you through a whole range of reasons as to why. But for me, it's about feeling a little bit like an end of a chapter. I won't tell you too much about it. There'll be a link for it down in the description below. So the most important accessory or the most important essentials that you'll need for autumn and winter caravanning or motorhoming or camper vanning is making sure that you've got the right awning. Now the world of awnings has changed radically over the last 5 to 10 years, and gone are the days when the only type of awning available was a full awning or the dreaded divorce in a bag. In the world of awnings now you can get full awnings, porch awnings, touring awnings, seasonal awnings, driveway awnings, airframe, carbon frame, steel frame. So there's loads and loads of things to think about, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the pros and cons for each and tell you a little bit about what we've got and what I would do if I was in your position. So for me, the thing with caravanning, camper vanning, motorhoming, trailer tenting, it's about the sense of freedom, and I've talked about that sense of freedom loads in the past and what it means to me and what it's meant to me. Now I can't think of anything much worse than having a caravan and only being in a position where you can use it for every 2 or 3 months, or only using it in the summer. Obviously we've got a seasonal pitch which sort of changes things a little bit, but even if we didn't and we had a touring caravan, I'd want to make sure that I was in it at least once a month, and that's something that we're still going to be looking to do with the camper van moving forward, is making sure that we're getting out and about as much as physically possible and not allowing cold weather or bad weather to affect that and impact that. And especially with so many different campsites that are available, which we've talked about before, and about the Caravan and Motorhome Club, there's loads of opportunities nearby and loads of places you can go nearby and still manage to get out in your caravan. But when the weather's bad and going away in the caravan for a weekend or for a night or a couple of nights, you're going to want something that you can put up relatively easily and still be able to utilise the additional space rather than getting cabin fever of being in the caravan all the time. So let's have a look now at what options are available. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by telling you what we've got and why we've got it and the thought process that we went through when we got it. So we got our awning when we got the caravan. So to be fair, I think both me and Lisa would admit that we are massively impatient. So I think the only awning that was available to us in the size that we needed for our caravan was a Camtech Atlantis DL. We didn't want to be waiting, like a lot of people have, waiting months and months and months and months to get an awning. We wanted something that we could set up straight away and something that we could use to really make use of that extra space in the awning. So we're dead fortunate that on our seasonal pitch we can leave our awning up for 365 days a year. So we put our awning up on the 15th of January and we won't take our awning down again now until we perhaps move to a new site, perhaps next year or the year after. So one of the things that was important to us was making sure that we got something that had really good material, something that was really strong, and something that could handle bad weather and handle the really hot summer that we've had. So the Camtech Atlantis DL is a all-season full awning. So that means that we can utilise the maximum amount of space around the outside of the rim of our caravan. So that was what was going to allow us on our seasonal pitch to get the maximum possible space. So based on that, that's probably going to be a really good place for us to start now, and we're going to talk about in a little bit of detail what's meant by a full caravan awning. Starting off with a full awning. So a full awning is an awning that will go completely around the outside, through the outside rail on the perimeter of your caravan, all the way around. So what this means is, it means that it provides you with the maximum amount of space lengthwise, and essentially what that means is, it means that you'll have the maximum possible weight. Now, dependent on the length of your caravan, full awnings can come in sizes from size 4 up to size 19. Now, from what I can remember, ours was a size 17, which is for 1025mm to 1050mm. Traditionally, these full awnings have always been 2.4 meters deep, but what's started to happen over time is they've started to get deeper and deeper, namely things like the Isabella Penta Etna, which is 3.5 meters deep, the Camptech Buckingham, which is 3 meters. There's also the Dorema President XL, which is 3 meters, and the Suncamp Icon, which I think is 2.85 meters. So they are getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Full awnings are brilliant because, like I say, they maximize all of the space available to you as an outdoor area. The downsides with full awnings is that you'll tend to find that they will be far, far, far heavier than a lot of the porch awnings for obvious reasons, and the amount of time that they will take to put up will be far, far greater, meaning that full awnings really tend to not be the awning of choice for people that are looking to have a quick night, couple nights away. So you can get full awnings in both a seasonal material or designed more for tourers. So the difference between the two will be the amount of UV damage that they'll be able to take from the sunlight, but also as well, a lot of the time with the seasonal awnings, they will be heavier and a much thicker material. Sometimes you can hear seasonal being called all weather and things like that. Just some manufacturers call it different things. Now, with full awnings, you can get them both in an air beam capacity, or you can get them in poles. A lot of the time it goes down to personal preference, but for me, if I was on a seasonal pitch, I would absolutely be looking to get poles, and the biggest steel poles that I could get my hands on. And if I was going to be touring, then I'd definitely be looking at something that's got air beams. The reason behind that is that a lot of the time with an air beam awning, you can put it up on yourself, because a lot of awnings will have a single point of inflation. So what that means is, rather having to inflate several beams, you will have one point where you can plug your pump in, be it an electric pump or be it a hand pump, and that will inflate the whole awning from one place. One thing that you definitely can't do with a poled full awning is put it up yourself. It would be an absolute nightmare. Moving on to porch awnings now. So porch awnings are awnings which aren't designed to fit all the way around your caravan. So for example, you can get porch awnings that are 2 meters wide. You can get them that are 2.2 meters, 2.6, 2.8 meters, 3 meters, 3.3, 3.9. A lot of the time it just depends on what sort of thing it is that you're planning on using the space for, and also how much weight you want to carry, but also whether you're going to be able to put something up on your own. Someone who's got a Boletto 200, for example, from Van Gogh, they would perhaps use that awning for somewhere where they can put wet shoes, dirty shoes, hang coats up, dry dog's feet and all that sort of stuff, compared to something that's 3.9 meters, which you'd perhaps have a table and chairs in there and all that sort of stuff, because obviously it gives you far, far, far greater space. And by nature, because they are smaller, they're far, far easier to install, and they are far, far lighter when it comes to carrying them. Also as well, porch awnings, you can get them in both poled variants and air variants, but once again, between the two, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to be putting it up on your own, make sure you're getting an air beam one, because once again, it's something that you'll be able to do on your own in about 13 or 14 minutes and just inflate it on your own, whereas with the poles it tends to be, you know, a little bit more faffing about. But once again, if you're going to be leaving it up for a long time, always go for the poled option over the aired. Things to be mindful of when choosing a porch awning is you want to be able to measure at what point you're going to have the sides of the awning, because you need to make sure that be it the pole or the air beam is not blocking either access to your cassette, depending on which side your toilet's at, or you don't want it having covering access to the storage, be it under the bed or under the chairs as well. So always know, take a tape measure and say, right, I'm going to have it next to the door. Right, so where's 2 meters, where's 2.8, where's 3.3, where's 3.9 meters. So make sure that whatever awning it is that you're going to choose, it isn't going to impact being able to access other things on the outside of the van. Porch awnings are far more common on caravans and motorhomes that aren't going to be using it as a driveway, and something which you can use when you're just going to go away for a weekend, something that, like I say, you can throw up in 15-20 minutes but still allows you to have that extra space outside of the caravan. Moving on to driveway awnings now. So a driveway awning is essentially an awning that will have normally about a 1 meter to a 1.2 meter channel, which will connect to a rail on the side of a camper van or a motorhome that's going to be using it as a driveway awning. So once again, with driveway awnings, the difference in footprints is absolutely massive compared to what size it is that you want and what size it is that you have. So for example, you can have driveway awnings which face the same way as your vehicle. You can also have them that face out from the vehicle. So a lot of the time it's based on what sort of thing it is that you're looking for, or what you think looks better. But in terms of actual physical space inside, you know, the difference between a camper trip air, which is probably about 2 meters by 3 meters, compared to something like a Jonesville 440, you know, there's totally massive difference in the amount of space which is available. And I suppose that's the thing really, is it's about sort of making a note and making a list of things that it is that you're going to want to use it for, and then thinking, right, do I want to have more space than that or less space than that? Try and go and have a look at one and stand inside it and think, right, this is 3 meters by 3.25, this is too big, it's too small, and try and get a feel for whatever it is that you're going to get. A lot of the time driveway awnings are relatively light and relatively easy to put up. Once again, put up time on some of the driveway awnings can be as little as 12, 13, 14 minutes, and the difference in material is massive as well. So a lot of the time some of them can be quite tentish material, but if you look at things like the Outdoor Revolution T4 EPC or the Cayman Combo PC, that poly cotton material is absolutely fantastic. It's so thick. You've also got the technical cotton from Van Gogh. So you know, there are lots of different types of material dependent on how you're going to use it and what seasons and things like that. A key thing for your driveway awning is making sure that you're getting the right size awning for the size of the rail that you've got on your camper van. So they tend to come in 3 heights. They'll come in low, mid and high, and what we would need for Tango is something that would sit in the low range, which is about 180 centimeters to 2.1 meters. You've obviously got things which are going to be bigger than that, so might be something like a Citroen Berlingo or something like that, compared to, you know, like Jem and Dave have got, which is a Comanche Auto Trail, which is probably, you know, the best part of 2.8 meters up. Making sure you've got that right is absolutely crucial, because you will want to make sure that you have got the right amount of material leading from the awning to the rail. If you've got a high awning and your vehicle is in the mid-range height, then you're going to get saggy flaps, and absolutely nobody wants to have saggy flaps. An awning is an absolutely essential piece of equipment, no matter whether you're a caravanner, campervanner, motorhomer. So always make sure that you're doing your research. Always make sure that you're taking the time to make sure that you're getting the right product, because what I've noticed now since I've been working at A&E is that people tend to have 2 or 3 awnings. So people will have an awning which they're going to go away for a night or a couple of nights. They'll have an awning which they'll use if they're going to go away for a week or 2 weeks, and then they might have something like a sun canopy as well. Now, you don't have to do that, as long as you're making sure that you've got your list of wants and your list of needs, and making sure that you're choosing the right bits as you go, really. But the big thing is that if you're going to be going seasonal, always get a poled awning. in my opinion. If you want something that you can throw up quickly for weekends away, get an air porch awning. And like I say, just make sure you're getting out in your caravan as much as possible. In terms of our awning and what our awning looks like, you can find that by watching this video here.